This is the story of Emily Carter, a woman whose heart was shattered in front of an entire town, and who chose strength in a way no one expected. Emily Carter grew up in a small town in North Carolina, one of those places where everybody knows your story before you tell it. She wasn't rich. She wasn't flashy. But she was kind, soft-spoken, loved by everyone who crossed her path. She spent years dreaming of her perfect wedding, not because she was obsessed with marriage, but because she wanted a forever built on honesty and love. And when she met Thomas Hale, she thought she found exactly that. Emily met Thomas at a 4th of July town festival. He was handsome, charismatic, confident, everything she wasn't. He won her a teddy bear at a carnival booth, then spent the whole evening talking to her like she was the only person in the world. For 2 years, they were inseparable. He proposed under the fireworks the next 4th of July, grand, romantic, unforgettable. It felt perfect, until the wedding day. The day began beautifully. Emily woke up in her childhood home surrounded by bridesmaids, family, laughter, makeup brushes, and sunlight pouring through the curtains. Her mother kept saying, "Today is the day, sweetheart. Your forever begins." Emily believed it with her whole heart. Her dress hung by the window, lace, soft ivory, with delicate beadwork that shimmered when the light hit it. Everything felt magical. And she felt ready. But over at the groom's quarters, something wasn't right. Thomas paced the room, hands shaking, face pale. His best man asked, "Dude, are you sick?" "Cold feet." Thomas didn't answer. He just stared at himself in the mirror, whispering, "I can't do this, what have I done?" It wasn't nerves. It was something deeper. Something he should have confessed long before this moment. But he didn't. The guests filled the pews, fanning themselves with programs. The air buzzed with excitement and color. Emily walked in. Every head turned. She was radiant. Her smile lit up the entire church. Even Thomas's mother whispered, "She looks like an angel." Thomas stood at the altar, trying to smile, trying to pretend, trying to hide the truth he'd been carrying. But the truth doesn't stay buried, not even on a wedding day. The pastor began speaking. Thomas wasn't listening. He was sweating, chest rising fast. Emily reached the altar and gave him a soft smile, the kind of smile that promises forever. He looked away. Then, during the vows, the moment hit. The pastor asked, "Thomas Hale, do you take Emily Carter to be your lawfully wedded wife?" Thomas froze. The silence was loud, painfully loud. Thomas leaned toward Emily and whispered something that turned her world upside down. "I can't marry you. I'm sorry. I'm in love with someone else." The church erupted. Emily stood perfectly still, face pale, eyes wide, her entire future collapsing at the altar. Emily's bouquet hit the floor. Her mother cried out. Thomas's father stood up, furious. Guests whispered, pointed, covered their mouths. But Emily didn't cry. Not yet. Not here. She lifted her chin, eyes glistening, not with weakness, but with strength beginning to glow from deep inside. Then she did something no one expected. Took a slow breath, and walked away from the altar. Not running, not collapsing, walking with dignity. Emily stepped outside into the bright afternoon sun. The sky was painfully blue, too beautiful for a day like this. Her bridesmaids rushed toward her. Her mother tried to hug her. Emily held up her hand. "Please, not yet." Because tears weren't what she needed. She needed clarity. She needed air. She needed to understand how the man she loved could crush her so completely. And she needed to decide what she would do next. What she chose would shock the entire town. Thomas hurried out the church doors, guilt written all over his face. "Emily, wait. Please let me explain." She didn't raise her voice. She didn't lash out. She simply said, "Explain? At the altar, Thomas? In front of my entire family?" He ran a hand through his hair. "I never meant to hurt you. I'm in love with someone else. I didn't know how to tell you." Emily shook her head slowly. "You should have told me before today." She wasn't angry. She was shattered. But shattered people choose their shape when they put themselves back together. Emily was about to choose hers. She turned to the officiant. "Emily, may I speak?" The officiant, bewildered, simply nodded. She stepped forward and looked directly at the crowd, her family, her friends, her entire small town. Her voice wavered once, then steadied. "Emily, thank you for coming today. I know you didn't expect this. Neither did I." A few guests murmured sadly. She continued, "Emily, but I want you all to know something. This is not the end of my story. And this will not break me." Gasps filled the room, not because of the drama, but because she was standing with more grace than anyone had imagined possible. Emily lifted her dress, turned around, and walked slowly down the aisle. Her steps were steady, her spine straight. Every guest rose to their feet in silent respect, not because of ceremony, but because of her strength. Mark watched her go, and for the first time he looked afraid, not of losing her, but of what she would become without him. Outside the church, Emily stepped into the warm small-town sunlight. She finally let a tear fall, just one, before wiping it away and exhaling. Behind her, guests poured out in waves. Whispers spread like wildfire. She didn't crumble. She walked away with dignity. "She's stronger than all of them." Emily heard every word, but she didn't stop walking. Her father finally caught up. He placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You don't have to act strong for me, sweetheart." Emily shook her head. "Emily, I'm not acting." Her father nodded, voice cracking. "I'm proud of you." Those words broke her more than Mark ever could. She threw her arms around him and sobbed into his chest. When Emily finally pulled away, she wiped her face and said something no one expected. "Emily, I'm still going to the reception." Her father blinked. "Why?" Emily said softly. "Emily, because that hall is paid for. The food is paid for. The music is ready. And my life does not end at the altar." Her father stared at her, then burst into a proud, emotional smile. The reception hall was a burst of color and warmth. Flowers in vivid pink, orange, and yellow. Twinkling fairy lights reflected on polished wooden floors. Guests were whispering, some in sympathy, some in admiration. Emily entered, glowing despite everything. The hush fell. Then murmurs of awe spread. She took a deep breath, smiled, and walked to the head table, alone. She didn't cancel the celebration. She made it her own. Because life and joy do not require anyone's permission. Her bridesmaids approached her, tears and smiles mixing. "Bridesmaid, you are incredible, Emily. I don't know anyone else who could do this." Her mother nodded, eyes shining. "Mother, life will bend around you, dear. Not the other way." Emily felt something she hadn't in hours: control. Not control of Mark. Not control of the wedding. Control of herself. She raised her glass. "Emily, to love, to life, and to the courage to walk away from what doesn't serve us." The room erupted in applause. Some wiped tears. Some stared in disbelief. No one expected this. No one would forget it. Mark stood near the back, frozen. He had imagined Emily sobbing, begging, or at least being humiliated. Instead, she was radiant, defiant in the most graceful way possible. He whispered under his breath, "I didn't know she was like this." The realization hit him hard. Some moments can't be undone. Some hearts cannot be taken for granted. Later, Emily took to the dance floor. She danced with herself first, then with her father. The band played, lights shimmered. Guests slowly joined her. It wasn't a wedding dance. It was a freedom dance. The room filled with energy, joy born from heartbreak. Narrator: Emily didn't need a husband to celebrate life. She needed herself, and in that moment, she had everything. During a break, Emily sat surrounded by her closest friends. They asked gently, "Friend, are you okay?" Emily smiled softly, a mix of pain and relief. "Emily, I'm more than okay. I'm alive. I'm free. And I'm choosing joy over heartbreak." Her friends nodded, moved by her grace. Some whispered to each other, "She's braver than anyone here could ever be." As the evening progressed, a young man approached Emily. He had a gentle smile and a confident demeanor. "Young man, I just wanted to say, I've always admired your strength. You're incredible." Emily looked at him, puzzled. Narrator, sometimes, life gives us surprises when we least expect them. Not the kind that break our hearts, but the kind that remind us who we are. They began talking, laughing softly. And for the first time that day, Emily felt light. Not because of love, but because of connection, respect, and recognition of her resilience. Before the night ended, Emily stepped to the microphone. "Emily, I know today wasn't what any of us expected, but I want everyone watching this story to remember, strength isn't shown in how quietly you cry, but in how boldly you choose yourself. If this story resonates with you, please comment your thoughts below, subscribe to this channel, and turn on post notifications. Your support helps us share more real-life stories of courage, heartbreak, and hope." The audience erupted in applause, this time not for a wedding, but for true resilience. As the night drew to a close, Emily stepped outside. Stars sparkled above the small town streets. The cool night breeze kissed her face. She smiled to herself. Not for Mark. Not for the guests. Not for anyone but herself. Emily Carter taught a small town, and everyone watching her story, that courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is standing tall, walking forward, and celebrating life even when it turns against you. Weeks later, Emily was invited to a garden brunch by her friends. She laughed freely, her spirit unburdened. Mark's absence was a memory. Her strength, courage, and choices were the new legacy. She realized the altar wasn't where love or life was measured. It was in how you rise after it falls apart. Narrator, the bride who was left at the altar didn't crumble. She rose. And in that rise, she became unstoppable. Emily's story reminds us, life doesn't always follow our plans. Heartbreak isn't failure. Courage is choosing yourself. Joy can be found even in the darkest moments. Sometimes, the greatest shock, the one that seems like the end, becomes the beginning of everything you were meant to be. Fade out with Emily walking down the small town street, sunset painting the sky in golds and pinks.